The key wouldn't turn in the lock. I stood there in the rain, jiggling it uselessly, while my soaked duffel bag grew heavier on my shoulder. 3 weeks. I'd only been gone 3 weeks to care for my dying grandmother, and somehow my house key didn't work anymore. My name is Veronica, and I was about to learn just how disposable I was to my own mother. I rang the doorbell, hearing the familiar chime echo inside. Footsteps approached, and the door swung open to reveal Mom's pinched face. Her eyes narrowed when she saw me, like I was a door-to-door salesperson interrupting her evening. "Oh, you're back," she said flatly. "Yeah, I'm back. My key doesn't work anymore." She stepped aside to let me in, her silence speaking volumes. The house smelled different, artificial lavender and unfamiliar perfume. New artwork hung on the walls, and the old family photos were gone. My chest tightened. "Where are my things?" I asked, already dreading the answer. "We had to make some changes while you were gone," Mum said, crossing her arms. "You're 24, Veronica. It's time you learned to support yourself." Stuart, my stepfather, appeared from the kitchen with a beer in hand. He barely glanced at me. "Your mother's right. We turned your room into a rental. Extra income." The words hit me like a physical blow. "You did what?" "Don't be dramatic," Mum said. "We assumed you'd find your own place after everything. You can't expect to live here forever." "I was taking care of Grandma while she died," I said, my voice rising. "I told you I'd be back. Where's all my stuff?" "Storage unit down on 5th Street. We packed everything carefully." She handed me a key. "Unit 23B. A door opened upstairs, and a young woman about my age appeared at the top of the stairs. She wore yoga pants and looked confused by the tension below. "Everything okay?" she asked. Mum's face transformed into a bright smile. "Of course. Daria, this is my daughter, Veronica. She's just stopping by." Daria, the stranger living in my room. She gave me an awkward wave and I forced myself to nod back. This wasn't her fault. "Where am I supposed to sleep tonight?" I asked Mum. "The couch is available," Stuart said, taking another swig of beer. "Temporarily." I stood there, exhausted and dripping rainwater onto the floor, while my mother and stepfather looked at me like I was an inconvenience they hoped would disappear. "I need to shower and change," I said. "Use the downstairs bathroom," Mum replied quickly. "Daria has the upstairs one now." I trudged to the basement bathroom with my duffel bag, fighting back tears. The bathroom was musty, with a flickering fluorescent light and a shower that barely worked. As I peeled off my wet clothes, I thought about Grandma Esme's final weeks. "Watch yourself with Eleanor," she'd warned me, using Mum's first name like she always did when she was disappointed in her daughter. "She'll smile while she twists the knife." I hadn't understood then. I did now. After my shower, I found sheets and a thin blanket folded on the couch. The living room smelled like Stuart's beer and cheap air freshener. I could hear Mom and Daria chatting upstairs. In my room, like old friends. Once the house grew quiet and dark, I pulled out the sealed envelope Grandma had given me the day before she died. "Don't open it until you need it most," she'd said, with that knowing look in her eyes. "And whatever you find inside, remember, you're stronger than they think you are." My hands shook as I broke the seal. Inside was a legal document, and as I read the first few lines, my breath caught in my throat. "Last will and testament of Esme Russell." I read it 3 times to be sure. Then I pressed my face into the pillow to muffle my shocked laughter. The house. Grandma had left me the house. The entire house, free and clear. Mom and Stuart weren't landlords. They were squatters, and they had no idea. I tucked the will carefully back into my bag and lay back on the lumpy couch, staring at the ceiling. For the first time since Grandma died, I felt something other than grief. Something that felt a lot like justice warming my chest. "Watch yourself with Eleanor," Grandma had said. But she'd done more than warn me. She'd armed me. Tomorrow I'd start making calls. But tonight I'd sleep soundly, knowing that my grandmother's final gift wasn't just this house. It was the power to take back what was mine, and I intended to use it. "The will is ironclad," Juliana said, adjusting her glasses as she reviewed the documents. "Your grandmother was very thorough. She had this drafted and notarized 6 months ago, with 2 witnesses and a complete mental competency evaluation attached. I sat in the probate lawyer's pristine office, clutching my coffee cup like a lifeline. So the house is really mine? 100%. Your mother and stepfather have no legal right to be there, let alone rent out rooms. Juliana leaned forward. Have you told them yet? No, I wanted to be sure first. She nodded approvingly. Smart. They're technically squatters now. We can have them removed within days if you want. The thought was tempting, but something held me back. Not yet. I need to understand exactly what's been happening first. After leaving Juliana's office, I drove to my old neighbourhood and parked across from Ben's house. He was watering his flowers when I walked up, just like he used to when Grandma and I would bring him cookies. Veronica! His weathered face lit up. I was wondering when you'd show up. Come in, come in. Ben's kitchen looked exactly the same. Warm yellow walls, coffee always brewing. He poured us both cups and sat across from me. I'm so sorry about Esme, he said softly. She was one of the good ones. She was the best. I wrapped my hands around the warm mug. Ben, I need to ask you something. Did she try anything with Grandma before? His expression darkened. You don't know about the competency hearing? What hearing? About 2 years ago, Eleanor tried to have Esme declared mentally unfit. Wanted to take control of her assets, including the house. He shook his head. Your grandmother fought back hard, proved she was sharp as ever. Eleanor was furious when the judge dismissed the case. My coffee turned bitter in my mouth. Mum never told me. Course she didn't. Esme made me promise to tell you if anything happened to her. Said you needed to know what Eleanor was capable of. I left Ben's with my head spinning. When I got back to the house, Daria was in the kitchen making tea. She smiled tentatively. Hey, want some? It's chamomile. I almost said no, but something made me pause. Sure, thanks. We sat at the kitchen counter, and I noticed dark circles under her eyes. How long have you been living here? I asked. About 2 weeks. Your mum, Eleanor, she said the room opened up suddenly when her drug addict daughter abandoned the family. Daria's eyes widened. Oh God, that's you, isn't it? But you were taking care of your grandmother. The mug nearly slipped from my hands. What exactly did my mother tell you about me? Daria looked uncomfortable. That you'd stolen money from them, disappeared for months doing drugs, that they had to change the locks because you'd break in and take things. She trailed off. But that's not true, is it? No, I said quietly. It's not. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I should have known something was off. Eleanor and Stuart, they're weird, controlling. They check my room when they think I'm not home. I thought about Grandma's last Christmas alive, how she'd held my hand while we decorated cookies. Sometimes, she'd said, the people who should love us the most are the ones who hurt us worst. But you know what's stronger than their cruelty? Your ability to survive it. Daria, I said carefully, would you help me with something? She studied me for a moment, then nodded. They're not who they pretend to be, are they? No, and I'm going to prove it. I pulled out my phone and showed her Grandma's will. Her eyes went wide. Holy shit, she breathed. This is your house? Yes, and I need to know everything they've been doing here. Everything they've said about me. Every rule they've made. Every penny they've taken. Daria's face hardened. I'll help. They deserve whatever's coming. Later that night, I lay on the couch pretending to sleep when I heard Mom and Stuart talking in the kitchen. She's planning something, Mom hissed. I can feel it. Relax, Stuart slurred. She's got nothing. No money, no proof, no power, just like her crazy grandmother. I smiled in the darkness, thinking of the will safely stored in my bag. They had no idea what Grandma had given me. No idea that every lie they'd told, every room they'd rented, every lock they'd changed was about to become evidence against them. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. But tonight, I'd let them believe they were still in control. Let them think I was still the powerless daughter they could throw away. After all, the best revenge is the one they never see coming. Hi, I'm Sarah from the Tenant Rights Commission, I said, adjusting my borrowed blazer and fake glasses. We've received some concerning reports about this property. The potential renter sitting across from me at the coffee shop looked relieved. I knew something felt off. They wanted 3 months' rent up front in cash. My phone recorded everything as the young woman, Amy, detailed her viewing of my old bedroom last week. Mum and Stuart had listed it again, planning to squeeze 2 renters into the space. They said their previous tenant was dangerous, Amy continued, a drug addict who broke in regularly. They used it to justify the high security deposit. I kept my face neutral, though my blood boiled. Did they provide any documentation, rental agreement, proof of ownership? No. They said paperwork would complicate things. Amy shook her head. I'm so glad I didn't go through with it. Back at the house, Daria was waiting in the kitchen. How'd it go? That's the 3rd person this week with the same story. I played back the recording. They're telling everyone I'm a junkie thief. I found something else, Daria said, pulling out a leather-bound book. It was tucked behind the dresser in your old room. I think it's your mum's journal. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside, Mum's precise handwriting filled pages with schemes and calculations. One section was titled, Esme Manipulation Attempts. Suggest memory problems to her doctor. Hide her medications, make her think she's forgetting. Move important papers, blame her confusion. Get Stuart to mention her odd behaviour to neighbours. Jesus, Daria whispered, reading over my shoulder. She really tried to make your grandmother look crazy. Keep reading, I said grimly. The latest entries were about me. V returning bark problem. Need higher rent from D to offset. S suggests selling E's jewellery before V asks. Possible tenants. 2 students, $800 each. They're selling Grandma's jewellery? My voice cracked. She left that for me. Check this out. Daria pulled up her phone. They just posted another rental ad, looking for quiet international students who value privacy, aka people who might not know their rights. I grabbed my laptop and created a new email address. Within minutes, I'd sent an inquiry about the basement rental opportunity under a fake name. Mom's response came quickly. Available immediately. $1,000 month, cash preferred, no lease required. Got them, I muttered. Illegal sublet, no paperwork, cash under the table. There's more, Daria said. I've been taking photos of them entering my room when I'm out, and I recorded Stuart threatening another potential renter who asked too many questions. A key turned in the front door. We quickly hid the journal as Mum walked in, her fake smile plastered on. Girls! Bonding? Her eyes darted between us suspiciously. Just sharing job hunting tips, I said smoothly. Daria mentioned an opening at her office. How nice. Mum's smile tightened. Veronica, have you started looking for apartments? Working on it, I lied. These things take time. Not too much time, I hope. Her voice hardened. We have interested parties for the living room space. After she left, Daria and I looked at each other. The living room, Daria whispered. They're going to rent out the couch? Not if I can help it. I pulled out my phone and dialed Juliana. Hey, it's Veronica. How quickly can we get a housing inspector out here? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Grandma's last days, how she'd made me promise to read her will only when I needed it most. She'd known. Somehow, she'd known exactly what Mum and Stuart would do. A floorboard creaked upstairs. Through the heating vent, I could hear them talking. She's getting too comfortable, Mum said. And I don't like how friendly she is with Daria. So raise the rent, Stuart replied. Squeeze her out. She's got nowhere else to go. I just want her gone, like before, when it was just us. I pulled out my phone and pressed record, capturing their conversation. Every word was another nail in their coffin. A soft knock at the living room doorway made me jump. Daria stood there, holding something. Found this in the back of the closet, she whispered, handing me a small box. Inside were letters, dozens of them, all addressed to my grandmother. The first one I opened made my heart stop. It was from someone named Sierra, warning Grandma about Stuart's inappropriate advances and Eleanor's enabling behaviour. Upstairs, Mom and Stuart kept plotting, unaware that their house of lies was about to collapse. I looked at Daria, at the evidence mounting around us, and felt a cold smile spread across my face. Ready to help me take them down? I asked. Daria grinned back. Let's burn their world to the ground. The housing inspector's arrival caught them completely off guard. I watched from Ben's front porch as Mum's face turned ashen when the city vehicle pulled up. Anonymous complaint, the inspector said, flipping through his forms. Multiple reports of illegal subletting and code violations. Stuart tried his fake charm. There must be some mistake. We're just a family helping out a friend. 3 friends, according to the rental listings I've seen. The inspector pushed past them. I'll need to see all areas of the house. I'd made sure he'd find plenty. The faulty wiring Stuart had never fixed. The mould in the basement bathroom. The illegal bedroom conversion in the attic. Daria had documented everything. My phone buzzed. Juliana's office. Perfect timing, I answered. Are the papers ready? Just filed with the court. The eviction notice will be delivered this afternoon. I watched Mum trailing behind the inspector, making excuses for every violation he noted. Stuart had disappeared, probably to hide his beer cans. Multiple serious violations, the inspector announced, writing furiously. Unauthorised rentals, safety hazards, improper ventilation. Initial fine is $5,000, with daily penalties until resolved. 5,000? Mum's voice rose an octave. That's ridiculous. Who complained about us? The inspector ignored her question. You have 48 hours to cease all rental activities and begin repairs. As he left, a courier arrived with the eviction notice. I walked back to the house just in time to see Mom rip open the envelope. Her scream could have shattered windows. You! She whirled on me, waving the papers. You did this. Did what? I kept my voice innocent. I've been looking for apartments, remember? Don't play stupid. Stuart stumbled in from the garage, reeking of beer. You entitled little bitch, after everything we've done for you. Everything you've done? I laughed. You mean kicking me out while my grandmother was dying, stealing her jewellery, telling everyone I'm a drug addict? We needed the money, Mum shrieked. The mortgage, the bills. You have no idea what it takes to run this house. Actually, I do. I pulled out Grandma's will. Because it's my house. The silence was deafening. Mum snatched the papers, her hands shaking as she read. No, she whispered. No, she wouldn't. She did. I stepped closer. She knew what you tried to do to her. The competency hearing, the hidden medications. Did you really think she'd let you get away with it? Stuart lurched toward me. You ungrateful little... Touch me, and I'll add assault to the eviction filing, I snapped. You have 30 days to get out, both of you. You can't do this. Mum's voice turned pleading. I'm your mother. A mother who told strangers her daughter was a drug-addicted thief. A mother who sold her own mother's jewellery. A mother who... Your grandmother was a manipulative old witch, Mum screamed. She turned you against me, poisoned you with lies. The only liar here is you. I headed for the stairs. 30 days. Then I want you gone. In my old room, Daria was packing her things. I heard everything. That was intense. You don't have to leave, I said. You're welcome to stay, with a real lease this time. She shook her head. Thanks, but I found a place. Besides, she pulled something from her closet. You might want to see these. More letters. These were newer, addressed to Stuart from someone named Sierra. Love letters, recent ones. Found them when I was cleaning, Daria said. Looks like your stepdad's been busy. I read the first letter, then the second. Each one more damning than the last. Sierra wasn't just any woman. She was Mum's friend. And according to these letters, Mum knew about the affair. She knew, I whispered. She knew and she let it happen. Why? A crash from downstairs interrupted my thoughts. Stuart's drunk voice boomed up the stairs. This is our house, you hear me? Our house. Mum's voice joined his. We'll fight this. We'll contest the will. I walked to the top of the stairs and looked down at them. My mother clutching her designer purse, my stepdad swaying with rage, 2 people who'd thrown me away without a second thought. Contest whatever you want, I called down, but right now you're trespassing. Should I call the police? They stared up at me, hatred and fear mingling in their eyes. For the first time, they saw me clearly, not as their disposable daughter, but as someone with power over them. 30 days, I repeated. Tick-tock. I turned away as they started arguing, already planning their next move. But I wasn't worried. I had the law, the evidence, and most importantly, I had the truth. Let them fight. I'd already won. Sierra's coffee shop was exactly the kind of place Mom would hate. Quirky, artistic, and completely unpretentious. I spotted her immediately, nervously shredding a napkin at a corner table. "Thanks for meeting me," I said, sliding into the seat across from her. I almost didn't come. Sierra's hands trembled around her cup. "When you called, I knew this day would come eventually." I placed the letters on the table. Her face went pale. "Where did you—" "Stuart's not very good at hiding things." I pushed them toward her. "How long?" Sierra's shoulders slumped. 2 years, but Eleanor, she's known from the beginning." "Why would she allow it?" "Because Stuart threatened to leave, and she can't afford the house without him." Sierra laughed bitterly. "She made a deal with him. He stays, keeps paying bills, and she looks the other way, even encouraged it." My stomach turned. She encouraged her husband to have an affair? She orchestrated it, invited me over when she'd be unexpectedly called away, asked me to help Stuart with projects around the house. Sierra wiped her eyes. "I was lonely, vulnerable after my divorce. They both took advantage of that. And now I'm their dirty secret. Eleanor holds it over my head, threatens to tell my boss, my family. Stuart just keeps promising to leave her." She met my eyes. "But that's not really why you're here, is it?" "No." I pulled out my phone. "I need you to tell me everything. Every manipulation, every scheme, every lie." Sierra talked for an hour. She told me about Mom and Stuart's financial frauds, their plans to force Grandma out, their schemes to pocket rental money while dodging taxes. I recorded it all. Back at the house, I found Daria in the kitchen with a strange expression. "Your mum tried to bribe me," she said without preamble. "Offered to waive my last month's rent if I'd sign a statement saying you're unstable and dangerous." Let me guess. She wanted it notarized? Yep. I played along, asked for details. Daria held up her phone. "Got her whole speech recorded? Want to hear your mum explain how you're a violent drug addict who needs to be kept away from her house?" I was about to answer when Mum burst through the front door. "You went to Sierra?" She stormed into the kitchen. "How dare you interfere in my marriage?" "Your marriage?" I laughed. "You mean your financial arrangement with a cheating alcoholic?" "You don't understand anything about adult relationships," she spat. "Sometimes we make sacrifices. Like sacrificing your daughter, your mother, your self-respect. I did what I had to do to survive." She slammed her hand on the counter. "This house, this life, I earned it, and I won't let you destroy everything I've built." "Built on lies," I said quietly. "Built on betrayal." "I'll fight you for this house," she hissed. "I'll tell everyone what you really are. No one will believe you over me." "Actually," Daria held up her phone, still recording. "I think they will." Mum's face contorted. "You little spy! Both of you conspiring against me. I want you out now." "No," I stood my ground. "This is my house. Grandma made sure of that." "Your grandmother?" Mum's laugh was ugly. "That interfering old woman? You know what? I'm glad she's dead. I'm glad I don't have to pretend to care anymore." The kitchen went silent. Even Mum seemed shocked by her words. "Get out," I whispered. "Veronica!" "Get out!" I screamed. "Get out of my house!" She backed away, fear finally breaking through her anger. At the door she turned. "You'll regret this," she said. "You're nothing without me." "No, Mum. I'm everything Grandma knew I could be, and that's why you hate me." After she left, Daria touched my arm. "You okay?" I looked around the kitchen, where Grandma had taught me to bake, where she'd held me when I cried, where she promised me I was stronger than I knew. "I'm better than okay," I said. "I'm free." My phone buzzed with a text from Juliana. "Check your email. Found something interesting in the mortgage records?" I opened the attachment and felt my breath catch. There it was, in black and white. Proof that Mum had refinanced the house last year using forged documents. "What is it?" Daria asked. I showed her the screen, feeling a cold smile spread across my face. "It's the final nail in their coffin. Mum committed mortgage fraud." "What are you going to do?" I thought about Mum's threats, her lies, her complete lack of remorse. I'm going to do exactly what Grandma would want me to do. Which is? Make them face the consequences of every single choice they made. I picked up my phone to call Juliana. Every single one. This is everything? Juliana spread the evidence across her desk. Mum's journal, Stuart's love letters, rental agreements, bank statements, and dozens of recordings. Everything I could find. I handed her one last USB drive, plus videos of code violations and illegal entries from Daria. Juliana examined the mortgage documents. The fraud is clear. Eleanor forged your grandmother's signature months after her death to refinance the house. That's a felony. Can we use all of it? Oh yes. She sorted the papers into neat piles. We have enough for criminal charges, civil suits, and immediate eviction. The question is, what do you want to do first? I thought about Mum's smug face, her threats, her complete lack of remorse. Before we go legal, can I handle this my way? Juliana raised an eyebrow. What did you have in mind? I pulled out my laptop and showed her the popular landlord horror story Instagram account I'd found. They exposed their lies to strangers. Seems fair they face the truth the same way. Just keep it factual, Juliana warned. We don't want them claiming defamation. That night, I started posting. Pictures of the illegal rentals, screenshots of Mum's rental ads, recordings of their threats, each post tagged with their full names and the property address. The response was immediate and overwhelming. These people are monsters. Who treats their own daughter like this? Someone send this to their employers. By morning, the posts had gone viral. Local news stations started calling. Mum's real estate clients began dropping her. Stuart's construction business started getting negative reviews. Then Sierra's letters leaked online, not from me, and the story exploded again. Mum called at dawn hysterical. "Take it down," she screamed. "Do you know what you've done? My reputation is ruined." "You ruined it yourself," I said calmly. "I just showed everyone the truth. I'm your mother." "No, you're my landlord, remember? And a fraudulent one at that." Stuart showed up an hour later, drunk and raging. He pounded on the door until I called the police. "This is harassment," the officer warned him. "Leave the property or we'll arrest you." "It's my house," Stuart slurred. "Actually," I handed the officer the deed and will. "It's mine." They took him away in handcuffs, still screaming threats. Mum watched from her car, filming with her phone. "You think this makes you powerful?" she shouted as I walked back inside. "You're just a spiteful little girl." "No," I called back. "I'm your karma." Daria found me in the kitchen later, staring at old photos of Grandma. "Your mum's trending on Twitter," she said. "Someone found her old social media posts bragging about rental income while calling you a drug addict. The internet is not being kind." Good. I looked at the latest email from Juliana. "The eviction's been expedited due to Stuart's harassment. They have 48 hours to leave." "What about the mortgage fraud?" "Police are investigating. Turns out the bank doesn't like being deceived either." My phone buzzed with a text from Ben. "Your grandmother would be so proud. She always said you'd be the one to end their reign of terror." I walked upstairs to my old room, soon to be my room again. The walls still held shadows of my old posters, marks Mum couldn't erase no matter how hard she tried. Like me. No matter how hard she tried to erase me, I was still here, still standing. A commotion outside drew me to the window. Mom was in the front yard, screaming at her phone. "It's not true. None of it's true. They're lying about me." But her social circle was crumbling. I watched as her friend pulled up, got out of her car, and walked straight to me. "Sierra?" I opened the door. "What are you doing here?" "Telling the truth," she said firmly, ignoring Mom's shocked face. "All of it. To everyone. I'm done being their secret." Mum crumpled onto the lawn, her carefully constructed world disintegrating around her. Stuart was in jail, her reputation was destroyed, and her house of lies was falling apart brick by brick. "You've ruined everything," she sobbed up at me. "No, Mom. You did that yourself. Every lie, every scheme, every betrayal. Those were your choices." I closed the door on her cries, feeling not triumph, but a strange, hollow peace. Grandma had given me the weapons, but I'd chosen how to use them. Tomorrow, they'd be gone. Tomorrow, this house would be mine again. Tomorrow, the truth would finish what karma had started. But tonight, watching Mum's world burn, I finally understood what Grandma meant when she said, "Sometimes justice isn't about winning, it's about surviving to tell the truth." The sheriff's deputies arrived at exactly 9 a.m. Mum and Stuart stood on the front lawn, surrounded by hastily packed boxes, while neighbours watched from their porches. "This is your final warning," the lead deputy announced. "Remove yourselves from the property immediately, or you will be forcibly removed." "You can't do this." Stuart lunged forward, only to be blocked by 2 deputies. "I paid for this house." "With fraudulent loans," I said from the doorway. "The bank's very interested in discussing that with you, by the way." Mum stepped toward me, her mascara streaked down her face. "Please, Veronica, we can work something out. I'm still your mother." "My mother died the day she chose her husband's affair over her daughter." I turned to the deputies. "They're all yours." As they were escorted off the property, I heard Mom wailing, "Where are we supposed to go?" "Not my problem," I called back. "Just like I wasn't your problem when you threw me out." Ben appeared beside me, carrying a box of Grandma's old photos he'd kept safe. "Esme would have loved this moment," he said. "She always said karma comes dressed as the people you hurt." Inside, Daria was helping me reclaim my bedroom. We stripped the generic decorations Mum had used to cover my life, revealing the paint underneath, the soft blue Grandma had helped me choose when I was 16. "Look what I found," Daria said, pulling something from behind the dresser. It was an old photo of Grandma and me baking cookies, both of us covered in flour and laughing. The memory hit me like a wave. "Blood doesn't make a family," Grandma had said that day. "Love does, and love means choosing each other, even when it's hard." "You okay?" Daria touched my arm. "Yeah, just..." I held up the photo. "Remembering?" A crash from outside interrupted us. Stuart was trying to break through the kitchen door, drunk and raging. "This is assault," the deputy shouted, tackling him. "You're under arrest," Mum screamed from the street as they handcuffed him. "This is your fault. All of it." I watched from the window as they loaded Stuart into a police car. Mum stood alone on the sidewalk, her designer purse clutched to her chest, looking small and lost. For a moment, just a moment, I felt a flicker of pity. Then I remembered all the nights I'd spent alone while she enabled Stuart's behaviour, all the lies she'd told about me, all the times she'd chosen him over me. The pity died. "Miss?" A deputy appeared at the door. "We found these in their car." He held out a jewellery box, Grandma's missing pieces. "They were going to pawn them," Daria said quietly. "I heard them planning it last night." I opened the box, touching the familiar pearls Grandma had promised would be mine someday. "Thank you," I told the deputy, "for everything." After the police left, Ben helped us change the locks. "Fresh start," he said, handing me the new keys. "Make it count." That evening, Daria and I sat on the porch, watching the sunset like Grandma and I used to do. "I'm going to miss this place," Daria said, "even though it was complicated." "You sure you won't stay?" She shook her head. "You need space to heal, to make this house yours again." Inside, I walked through each room, removing every trace of Mum and Stuart's presence. In the master bedroom, I found Grandma's old quilt tucked in a corner. Mum had tried to throw it away, calling it shabby. I spread it on my bed, in my room, in my house. A text lit up my phone. "Karma's not done yet. Check your email. Juliana." The message contained a news article. Local realtor and contractor under investigation for multiple fraud charges. Mum and Stuart's mugshots stared back at me. "They did it to themselves," Daria said, reading over my shoulder. "Yeah." I closed the email. "They really did." Later that night, alone in my reclaimed room, I pulled out Grandma's last letter to me, the one that had come with the will. "My dearest Veronica, remember this. A house is just walls and wood until you fill it with love. They tried to take your home, but they could never take your strength. That was always yours. Make this place a sanctuary. Make it everything they couldn't. And when you feel lost, remember, I chose you. I will always choose you. Love, Grandma. I touched the pearls around my neck, looked at the quilt on my bed, and felt, for the first time since she died, truly at home. Outside, a car drove past slowly. Mom's car. But I didn't worry. She had no power here anymore. This was my house now, my sanctuary, my victory. And somewhere, I knew, Grandma was smiling. The certified letter arrived on a sunny morning. Mum was contesting Grandma's will, claiming undue influence and mental instability. I called Juliana immediately. Can she do this? She can try, Juliana said. But I've got something better. The fraud investigation uncovered decades of financial abuse against Esme. Your mother stole from her own mother for years. What do you mean? Forged checks, unauthorized credit cards, fake investment schemes. It's all documented. The DA is pressing charges. I sat on Grandma's old porch swing, letting the news sink in. The sound of a car pulling up made me look up. It was Daria. Thought you could use some company, she said, carrying a familiar box of cookie-making supplies. Your grandmother's recipe. In the kitchen, mixing dough like Grandma taught me, I told Daria about the will contest. They never learn, do they? She shook her head, always thinking they can bully their way through life. The doorbell rang. Ben stood there with Sierra. We're here to testify, Sierra said firmly. About everything. The fraud, the abuse, all of it. I brought Esme's old records too, Ben added. She kept everything, every receipt, every bank statement. Your mother's going down. The probate hearing was brief and devastating for Mum. Her lawyer wilted as Juliana presented evidence of decades of financial exploitation. The judge's face grew darker with each revelation. Not only am I dismissing this contest, he declared, I'm referring this matter to criminal prosecution. Mrs. Porter, your treatment of both your mother and daughter is reprehensible. Mum crumpled in her seat. Stuart wasn't there. He was still in jail for the break-in attempt. Outside the courthouse, she grabbed my arm. Please! They're going to arrest me. I'll lose everything. Like I lost everything. I pulled away. Like Grandma lost everything? I'm your mother, she sobbed. No, you're just the woman who gave birth to me. Grandma was my real mother. As if on cue, police officers approached. Eleanor Porter? You're under arrest for financial elder abuse and fraud. I watched them lead her away, handcuffed like Stuart. No designer purse now, no smug smile, no power. Back at the house, I found an old photo album in Grandma's room. Inside was a letter I'd never seen before, dated just weeks before she died. My dearest Veronica, by now you've probably discovered what Eleanor did. Not just to you, but to me. Don't let her crimes harden your heart. That's what she did. And look where it led her. Instead, take this house and make it what it always should have been, a home for those who need one. There are so many lost souls out there, just like you were. Help them find their way. Love isn't about blood or obligation. It's about choice. I chose you. Now choose others. All my love, Grandma. I called Daria immediately. Remember how you said other girls might need a safe place? Yeah? What if we turned this house into exactly that? A home for young women escaping toxic families. Like a sanctuary? I could hear her smile. Esme would love that. The idea grew quickly. Juliana helped with the legal paperwork to establish Esme's house, a non-profit transitional home for women in crisis. Sierra joined the board. Ben offered to maintain the gardens. The first resident arrived a week later, a girl not much younger than me, clutching a small bag and wearing the same haunted look I once had. Welcome home, I said, showing her to my old room. You're safe here. Why are you helping me? She asked quietly. I touched Grandma's pearls around my neck. Because someone once helped me, and love means choosing each other, even when it's hard. That evening, I baked cookies in the kitchen. Grandma's recipe. The house smelled like home again, filled with voices and life and healing. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Local woman pleads guilty to elder abuse. Fraud. Mum's face stared back at me, but I felt nothing. She'd chosen her path. I'd chosen mine. A burst of laughter from the living room drew my attention. Our new resident was playing cards with Daria, looking relaxed for the first time, I looked at Grandma's photo on the wall and whispered, "Thank you for choosing me." The porch swing creaked in the evening breeze, Grandma's favourite sound. In the kitchen, cookies baked, her favourite smell. And throughout the house, healing happened, her favourite miracle. They say revenge is best served cold, but sometimes the best revenge is simply living well and helping others do the same. I'd learned that from the best.